Oh boy, we are back. It only took us a week of dealing with chaos, but we're back and we're getting ready for multiplayer again with pole position racing for round 3 in China, which from what the drivers have said is a track that they are controversially yes and no a fan of. So that's been interesting to kind of hear the drivers' feedback on and hear their opinions on China because it's not been a popular track as it has been in the past. So watching the drivers go through and kind of discuss that has been interesting. Of course, if you're new to pole position racing, I want to welcome you in to one of the best F123 leagues that you'll ever watch. My name is Bradley. I will be your commentator for today, and I will be taking you through all the action here of this third round of 12. So as we look here, of course, we did miss Jeddah last week due to a issue um with the update that was released, which was very, very unfortunate to see. Um, However, things back and going here for this week as we expect, which is very, very nice to have going. 16 drivers in. We do have some drivers out sick. We do, of course, have Kenny, who is sick as well, and I believe Syntax, who is not feeling well as well. Hope they get better. So you'll just have to work with me today and let me take you through on everything as we get set up and go through. Of course, racetracks.pl, always a big sponsor of the league here, giving away the prizes to the league at the end of the season. Our top 3 in the championship will, of course, be earning some rewards from racetracks, which will be very, very awesome to see as we watch the drivers kind of get settled in here on this track here in China. As they do that, I do want to take a couple minutes, and this is going to be new for this season. Take a look at last round's results. Last round was, of course, round 1, and as we look at it, of course, our podium here, Graxent, Baran, and Jack, setting up very, very well for them. Looking at how the race classified, 41-minute, 57-second race for Graxent, pulling himself into that P1, Baran P2, Jack P3, and then it was Kula, Matty, John Meister, Kashti, Jalajne, Debe finishing up in the points, Barthez finishing P10, Maverick, Wasserschwein, Kushor, Myros, Frantic, and Simon finishing out our top 16. And then, of course, it was Dormati, Ink, Fixian, and Tazo DNFing out of the race. And when you look at the Drivers' Championship, it's going to be 1-1 through Graxent, the ART driver, setting a very, very dominant run early on there. Him and his teammate Baran swapping positions back and forth all the way through that round 1. You look at the back half of the grid, of course, it's just how we finished. Red Bull already off to a dominating start in the constructors with 43 points. Ferrari and McLaren setting up for a very, very competitive run. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was how round 1 finished. And now we set up for round 3. And round 3 is going to be a lot of action through for all of these drivers. And I'm very, very excited to see how things land up here. We're on board with Kashti, who has started their first timed lap here, I believe, while we are going through that. Yellow flag out, sector 1. That is probably going to be the infamous turn 1 here in China that can be very, 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 very hard to deal with. And China, again, I said the drivers have mentioned it. China's been a very difficult track for some of these drivers, especially drivers who have been very, very strong. And when we look at last year's race in China, it was Graxent dominating, and looking at, Graxent dominated all of round 1. I would expect to see Graxent have a very, very dominant showing again here in China. This corner particularly here, this right-hander, has been very, very difficult for the drivers. They've been saying a lot of drivers losing traction all the way through. As we watch here, Kashti is going to be our first driver to kind of bring in a time lap here through our qualifying session, and then that will get us set up for the race. Of course, if you are new, it's just one 18-minute qualifying session and then a 50% race through. Kind of runs and sets things up well, and kind of watching how the drivers are going. Things kind of set up, and we see Graxent, who has already brought in a time of a 1:31.3. Very, very good run through for Graxent. Seeing there's some weird stream issues going on right now. Not sure what is happening there. We'll definitely have to investigate that. Also, some weird audio things happening, it seems. So, a couple weird little technical glitches that have happened here, but I think things should get back going again fairly well. And hopefully that'll sort itself out here and things will start to look better here. Riding on board with Graxant, who is flying down the back straight. I don't think he's going to be on a push lap here. Should just be on an end lap. You can see he's going a bit relaxed here. I think there may have been some weird things that happened with the game. Not sure what happened there. We'll see exactly where things land as we go. But as we watch on board here with Pink, who is coming through down again to this very, very tricky right-hander. Coming through now down this long backstretch. This backstretch is very, very interesting as well. It's kind of a I don't know, it's so long to run down that sector 3, and it's just like, well, you can see where the DRS zone lands. It's moved a bit further back than it has been in previous years for the drivers, and these are very, very long laps, honestly, when you look at the typical pace of a F1 track. Minute 34 through, P14 for Pink as he goes through, and now it's just Kushor and Yazin who have yet to put in times. But looking at everyone else is into the pits here, and at this point it's going to be pit, reset, get ready to go again. Now we watch Debe, who's coming through again. I think Debe is on an in lap as well. We see Wasserschwein and Kushor are both on out laps now, but Debe has already put in a lap on these tires. And it looks, just from kind of watching how Debe is going, I believe this is going to be an in lap for him. It doesn't seem like he's pushing extremely hard. You can see not a lot of battery there with the ride on board here. Now we've got yellow flags through Sector 1, Sector 2. That Williams just absolutely flying through. And, of course, apologies to everyone for missing Round 2. Round 2, of course, was canceled due to a bug in the game with equal performance not working. And, obviously, we don't want to run a round without that because of the way we set our league up. And it wouldn't make sense for us to do that. So watching here with John Meister. John Meister on an outlap. You can see several cars going through. I believe Wasserschwein is going to be the first car to come across and start a push lap here for us in this next group of cars. 9.5 minutes left to go, and it seems like drivers are really, really settling in, getting comfortable through, and really getting ready to put in some strong laps. We're going to do an onboard here with John Meister, or Wasserschwein, and see how Wasserschwein does through. Deep into turn 1 here, and then as you can see, it's just applying the brakes, holding the brakes through and around. Now it's into the left-hander, hold on to it, and a bit of a slide there from Wasserschwein, having a bit of a traction issue, and now it's just flat through. Right-hander here, hold on to it, deep braking about 75 meters, right-hander, spot that apex, come on around, and now again it's just accelerate through. Hold on to it, double left-hander here. It's a real weird angle. He's got the Red Bull in front. Red Bull gets out of the way at the last second. Very, very good move there. That's right-hander, and again into the left. This middle sector of the track proves really tricky there in 9, and especially coming out of turn 10 onto this little middle straightaway. It gets you into this right-hander, and now it's hairpin left, hold on to it. Weird timing apex, kind of swing it out, double apex here. And now it's really try to hold on to your traction all the way around the right-hander here of 12 and 13. And now it's going to be flat out all the way through. Again, you can see just how long this straightaway is and how long it takes you to get DRS. And now it's wing open all the way down, deep braking in for the turns of 14 and 15. And then it's the final left-hander here, turn 16, to finish things off. And we'll see where Wasserschwang finds himself here on the timing charts. Comes across, currently setting P9, is going to bring it across, only good enough to improve for 8th. And still 7.5 tenths back. Now Kashti improving as well. We're going to jump on board with one of the 2 Red Bulls here, Baran. Baran going for a push lap here. His teammate Graxent, who is currently on an out lap. Baran holding onto that push lap at the moment and looking fairly strong. Does find about half a tenth there in the first sector. Now, here we go. Baran really trying to show what he has here. Purple middle sector, so very, very good looking. Kula finding more time, though. 131.015. That's a very, very good time to see come from Kula. Of course, Baran, who ran kind of second fiddle there to Graxent all the way through in round 1, showed some good pace, and then they ended up swapping due to some strategy differences. If you listen to the interview during the first round, we asked both Baran and Graxent, was that the plan? And the plan was not for Graxent to finish ahead of Baran. They were just kind of running steady. Baran is going to come around the final corner here. Where does Baran land? Baran finds a 131.196. Improves by about 2.5 tenths, but not enough time to really beat out on Kula's time. Graxent will have a shot here in just a moment to see. Bartha is currently coming around down the back straight. We'll see if Bartha is able to improve anything. Graxent still on his out lap. You can see just how long this track is. Graxent has yet to start that push lap that it feels like we talked about he was on forever ago. There goes Barthez diving out of the way of his teammate Debe, giving him the toe down the back straight. So Debe and Barthez really playing the team game here, trying to find their way forward here this weekend. And does it improve? Debe only finds P13 here. So with the toe, still not able to find enough time through. And now it's a matter of where can he land for the rest of this qualifying. 5 minutes left to go. Has maybe just enough time for an in lap, change out some tires, get reset, and then go back on one more push. Will be just at the end of things on if he's able to make it. Graxit here is really going to be pushing time. He's very out of sync with the rest of the grid here. 4.5 minutes almost to go. And Graxit, you can see, really trying to put in some time here and trying to push through. Being very, very competitive all the way around here for Graxit. Graxit coming around here again, turns 12, 13, just weird double sweeping right-handers. And now it's going to be flat all the way down the line. And then pop the DRS, keep holding on to it, Graxit. See what we have here from our ART Racing driver. Deep braking, right-hander, very, very clean coming from Graxit here. And we'll see where Graxit can bring it across the line as he comes through. And it's into the pits. It's not even where he wants it. So Graxit not happy with where he found himself there. Going into the pits. Ignis, first driver we have on an out lap. Debe currently on that in lap. Ignis now on a push lap running out of sync. So Ignis will need to get around and hopefully not get caught out in any traffic as he goes through. As we watch the Mercedes here of Ignis go around and bring it through the middle sector, looking fairly steady here as we ride on board, is really kind of looking relaxed and very, very on top of the game. We see here Ignis again, light on the brakes through, looking very, very good, holding on to this right-hander and really trying to hold on to things. 2.5 minutes left to go. We're starting to see a few more drivers come out on outlaps, and it looks like that includes John Meister's on an outlap now. Barthez, Wasserschwein, Myros, and Yasin are all on outlaps at the moment. Kushort, Pink, and Ignis are on their push lap, so things should heat up quite a bit as they go. Ignis coming around into the penultimate corner here, now into the final corner. And where will Ignis land? Ignis looks very, very good out of the final corner. And Ignis brings it across, good enough for P5, and is now just going to have a nice, comfortable in-lap and needs to just hope that nothing too crazy happens. And really try to avoid impeding other drivers as Ignis is on his way in. Now, we jump on board here with Myros. Myros on an outlap on a push lap currently. His teammate Kushort, who is coming out on the back straight, and now it's flat all the way down, has one of the Hasses behind on an outlap. Is going to continue all the way down here. Hold on to it, and it's going to be very, very deep braking. Right-hander here. And as we watch Kushort here, you can see a bit behind there, coming across already 130s. And Kushort will bring it across the line. 132.6 improves into P15. So just a bit of improvement. John Meister has now started a push lap here in P4's early days through. Trying to check in with who is on what at the moment. Both alphas are on push laps. We have a Haas on outlaps. We have a Haas on a push lap. So lots of drivers currently going through, kind of making their way, trying to find time. You've got Barthez, who is early on into a push lap. You've got the Ferrari of Jack, who's on an outlap, trying to stay out of the way of one of the Red Bulls there. It looks like they're both diving over. Barthez is just going to be flat through, trying to avoid hitting either of them. You can see Jack getting... Oh, and there's an impact there. That is going to be Jack retired out of the session, hitting Debe. That was a weird moment that just happened there. I don't know exactly how that occurred, because they were all slow down the backstretch, and it was almost like someone got brake checked. Barthez comes across P8. His teammate Debe will be locked into P13, unable to find any additional time. Debe actually will make it through, but probably has a lot of damage on that car, and I think he's trying to gauge if he can actually push at this moment. I'm going to guess the answer is going to be no, but Debe is going to go for it anyways. And John Meister across the line. Provisional pole, 138.05. Green flag, or checkered flag has fallen now, so it is really down to just who can find what at the moment. Kushort is going to come across into the pit lane. That is going to be that. His teammate Myro is currently sitting P10. Both alphas are going to be next across the line here. It looks like Kashti is going to be the alpha behind Tazo. Tazo coming across there in the Alfa Romeo. Through the final corner, can he find any time and improve from P9 at the moment? As he comes across, it is just going to be locked into P9. His teammate Kashti will come across, finds enough time for P3 there, improves out to knock Baran out into fourth place. But Baran currently purple in the middle sector. Plenty of time to find there. The Haas drivers next across the line. It is going to be P10 for Maverick, and for Wasserschwein, who's currently coming across the final corner, it is going to be pit lane. Maverick not improving any there. Baran down the back straight here. We'll see where Baran can land here at the moment as he comes around the penultimate corners. Holding on to things, looking very, very strong. And Baran will come down, hit the left-hander here. Hold on to it. Keeps it just in track limits there with the curb. And will bring it across the line. Does not improve any past P4. So that is going to be where Baran locks in. But let's not miss out on his teammate Graxit. Graxit coming across the line here. Can't Graxit improve? And Graxit improves. Good enough for the second row of the grid. Sets up into P3. Still have a few drivers looking to finish here. It looks like John Meister, our pole sitter, will just coast it into the pits at the moment. And Graxit, our current championship leader, Good enough for P3 here as we wait on the last couple of drivers to go in. Yasin, P13, Too Short Pink, P15, and 16 rounding out the rear of our grid. We'll see how Graxon can get along here at the start of the race if Graxon's able to find more time to improve. Kula there, P2. Very, very respectable from Kula in the AlphaTauri. And John Meister currently sitting top of the charts there in the Mercedes, trying to bring a good run through. Of course, Mercedes week 1. We talked about it. It was interesting. And John Meister finishing P6 in week 1 is going to try to look for starting pole, finishing pole here in week 2. Graxon really trying to settle in. And of course, remember, quality isn't where you get the points. It's going to be the race. Debe carrying a grid penalty, which is, that's, I'm sure stewards are going to investigate that after the race. So we'll see how things land. Everybody stick with us. We will be right back for the race. All right. And as we come back and we're getting set up here, and of course, always lobby restart between qualifying and race. If you're new, that is something we have set up. It just gives the drivers a chance to reset everything, make sure their setup is good, make sure things are going. And now we just wait on the drivers to get everything set up and get everything selected in. And now as we wait on that, and we'll set up. And of course, formation laps are back for this season. I say it every time. I'm so happy that formation laps are back. So we're going to kind of set up and relax. And we get to enjoy a nice formation lap here around China. Kind of checking in on some different things with the league, of course. Racetracks.pl. We are very, very thankful to have them as a sponsor. You can do !racetracks in the Twitch chat, and that will get you a special discount code to use on their website to support PPR. Of course, we do also have Moza as well. !Moza, you can get a link directly, shop using that link, and it supports the league. We do, of course, have the amazing LOM 1138, who has been creating some of our graphics for the season. Very, very thankful for them, and very, very appreciative of them. As they have done a lot to really help us out with getting everything going with the server for with getting everything for the stream going, the server going. Wow, there it is. So it's been very, very good to have them on board as well. And of course, if you want to check out their stuff, you need to go over to our Discord, do !Discord in the chat if you're watching live on Twitch. If you're watching this later on YouTube, it's down in the description. And that will give you everything you need to know. Kind of taking a preview here as we are on race 0 here. And we are looking ahead here. Of course, round 3, China. Next week, it is Japan, Suzuka. It's going to be a very, very fun race to watch. And I'm very, very excited to see how that race pans out for everyone. Because that is going to be a very, very competitive weekend. It's going to be very, very fun. As we set up here, looking at the drivers getting ready to finish that formation lap with John Meister. Race strategy, medium to soft or hard to medium. We see a big variety of tires on the grid. Our pole sitter, John Meister, starting on mediums. Kula is going to be on the hard tires there in the AlphaTauri. You can see just pushing John Meister along, saying, hey, get a move on. We really want to get things going, which is very, very interesting to see. Not something I usually expect to see from them. Now, as we settle things up, John Meister, Kula, ART Graxit there, Mr. Graxit, who reported on Discord. If you're in the Discord, you would have seen this. Reported in the Discord that he actually got sick during qualifying, which is kind of bad to see, but glad to see that he is feeling better. And now we set up on the grid here, and it's going to be 5 red lights here for round 3, and we are going to be underway here for pole position racing, and it's going to be a very, very good getaway there from Graxon, especially as we watch Kula, John Meister side by side as they go through. Graxon on the outside here, trying to get a run on Kula, and does get the run on Kula. There we go, 3 wide in as Cashy's trying to take a dive down the inside, and Kula getting spun there early on, now in the middle of the pack, kind of settling in, trying to hold on. That first couple corners, very, very tricky, but now it is Graxon Baran moved up to P2, P3, Cashew there in P4, Tazo P5, and now we just watch this midfield battle develop here. Watch the Hasses side by side diving through. There goes up the inside. That's a very, very brave move from Pink. It's a wonder that the front wing isn't missing from that car as he's trying to hold on to things there. But is able to get away with it, holds on to it very, very well. And now, as we watch, there's a big wreck there from Maverick. And Maverick now into the wall. It's a wonder that car is even still going. But still go it may. And it's yellow flag sector 2. And Maverick, again, still spinning around. Let's check in with our race leaders here, as that is going to be a bad day for Maverick as we go through. And then there's also Pink, who is going very, very slow out of the corner of turn 10 there. But is back going again, it looks like. Not too many issues. And now, as we watch through the leaders here, Graxon, Baran, John Meister, our top 3. And as they settle things in here, they're going to dive into the inside. And now, that is 1 lap of 28 complete. 27 more laps to go now as we watch the drivers go through it. It's going to be the battle here all the way through. Wasserschwein around the outside of Barthez, trying to hold on to things there. Not able to, but now it switches to the inside here. You can see lots of wheel-to-wheel contact there, and I'm sure that's going to be discussed later. But at the moment, Wasserschwein holds on to that P8. Barthez in P9. His teammate Debe starting in P10. And everyone's just kind of holding on. Kula early into the pits there after that massive hit through. And I almost don't think damage is on for some reason, the way things look. Because really, after seeing that big hit there lap 1, I didn't think the car would get away from that. I didn't think Maverick would survive that. But it looks like Maverick has, and it looks like Maverick's kept going. Interesting. Now we settle in with Graxon. You can see just under that Red Bull rear wing there, Baran is in the background, kind of holding on. Cashy trying to hold on to the back of Baran. And now is where things get fun, because now you end up with these moments where we're going to start seeing a bit of a DRS train form from these drivers starting at the end of this lap. And then from there, that's when things get very, very interesting, because the DRS train will set up for, well, a bit of chaos, because drivers won't be able to find ways through. They'll have to do some, dive bombs and some different things here to try to make things happen, and that's going to be where we see the excitement really build up here. Ignis 0.2 of a second back on Tazo at the moment. Tazo in that Alfa Romeo just trying to hold off Ignis, trying to stay nice and steady behind Cashy. 1.6 seconds the gap between the teammates of Cashy and Tazo. Going to try to settle in there and find a run and keep things going. And watching this battle continue to develop, it's Ignis who is really, really showing some pace here, showing some strength. Ignis, again, a well-known name in the league, and just kind of settling in, trying to find what he can through. Pink retiring there in the pit lane, so that is going to be our first retiree. 15 cars left here in the 16-car grid that started. And when you look at who started where, it's been a good run for Tazo, up 4 places. It's been a good run for the Red Bull boys of Graxon, Baran. Graxon up 1 place, even though he is saying he's sick. Baran up 2 places. Not doing too shabby there. Maidros, Wasserschwein finding places through. Big loser at the moment, Kula. Kula started P2, and after that lap 1 contact, finding his way all the way down into P13. It looks like Ignis and Tazo battling it out. Look at this. Tazo going back on the inside there through the turn. Ignis runs it a bit wide, and Tazo gets the position back after getting past in the DRS. And that is, I think, a trend we are going to continue to watch for several laps here. Looks like Maverick has spun there in the right-hander. turn 12, and it looks like it's slow to get back going here. Ignis back around Tazo by the end of the main straight going into turn 1, and now Tazo going to settle in. Try to chase him down here. Graxon in the P2 here with Baron right behind, but Graxon also trying to put in pressure. Graxon said he wasn't feeling good. I messaged him and said, man, take a break if you need it, if you're not feeling good. And he said, yeah, but I'll go behind in the championship. That shows the dedication from this Red Bull driver, who is really, really trying to give it his all and trying to be extremely successful here in the league and trying to represent that ART racing team as much as possible. Now as we watch here, Graxon down the... this is like a weird halfback straight. I don't know how I feel about it. Graxon on the medium tires too. You can see here, very, very smooth with the throttle application, trying to chase down John Meister here. It looks like that Mercedes has a little bit better of an exit though, but Graxon is going to be in the slipstream with DRS here, and Baron is chasing as well. There's the DRS opening. You can see Baron just really holding on to things. Look at that, 200 miles an hour by the end of the back straight from the Red Bull driver. Kashti in tow as well, trying to catch up. Ignis 2.5 seconds back from Kashti, trying to give a little bit of pace here to try to see what he can find and try to find a little bit of time. One stop race, one pit stop strategy is the race strategy according to AWS. So this is going to be the matter of where things go. You're really going to be looking at a pit stop around lap 14. So for these leaders, it's all about really pushing, finding space, and they are going to want to try to build up a bit of a gap to the cars behind to get a bit of free air. Jack and Wasserschwein swapping. Ooh, bit of bump and run action here. Guys, it's F1, not NASCAR. As we see there, Jack and Wasserschwein kind of bumping each other through, but now things settling back in. Jack holding on to P8 at the moment, and Jack also battling COVID. Another driver that is on the injured driver roster here for PPR. To watch here, though, Jack doing very, very well to keep that Haas behind, trying to build up a gap over a second by the time they hit the detection point. You can see just fluttering right at that almost 1 second mark. It looks like it's going to be about 9/10 or so as they hit the detection line. So Wasserschwein is going to have DRS here this time through, but Jack may be able to find just enough to keep him away. Watch Kashti here as Kashti is right on the back of Baron here. We jump back to the front of the grid here. Kashti with a cheeky move to the outside, back to the inside. Trying to hold on to things here, and Kashti is going to be up the inside here, Baron, and Baron is going to be inside. No, he gives the position away. All right. So Baron not able to hold on to the move there. Kashti up into P3, into the podium paying places. And Baron, switching it back, though, has the DRS again. And as we run into turn 1, I believe Baron might be able to make this stick. He's on the outside, on the medium tires, going against the medium tires there on Kashti. Tire shouldn't be an issue as long as they've both been going pretty even. You can see they're side by side again through the left-hander. And as they hold on to things here, who is going to come out ahead? And it looks like at the moment it is still neck and neck for both of these drivers. Look at Baron trying to be very cheeky. A little bit later on the brakes there than Kashti is, as Kashti has a slightly compromised line, but Kashti with the quicker out. And it looks like for this point, lap 6 of 28, it is going to be Kashti who holds on to P3, and now Graxon trying to set off ahead as this battle behind happens. You can see Graxon already almost a second ahead of Kashti here. So as these two cars battle with each other, they are going to lose touch with the lead too. It's just a matter of how much are they going to push each other to try to hold on to that. And now we check back in with Wasserschwein in P9, because Wasserschwein is also under a lot of pressure here from Barthez, who is in P10, half a second back there. So we can see these little pockets. You look at your mini map in the bottom right, you can see the little pockets starting to develop, and that was a very, very late break there by Barthez. Barthez just missing the braking point completely, and that is going to let Yasin through. Now Wasserschwein spinning there in that very, very tricky right-hander. And safety car has been deployed. But why? And this is going to change up strategy quite a bit. Graxon stays out. John Meister's in. Ignis is in as well. Mercedes opting to double stack here. at this first safety car. We'll see how this lands out for them, as we can see John Meister's in off of the medium tires onto another set of tires, and that is going to be John Meister was off the mediums onto the mediums. Ignis is off the mediums onto the mediums. So several drivers into the pits now as we look at the pit strategy here. John Meister onto new mediums, Cashy on the new hards, Ignis Myros both on the mediums. Too Short, who is on the hard tires that he started on, Kula, who is on medium tires, and Maverick, who is on hard tires. Maverick picks up a drive-through penalty for speeding under safety car. And that is going to add a little bit of insult to injury here. But with both Mercedes opting to pit at a quarter of the way through the race and go on to a set of mediums, it's a very, very interesting strategy there. But that does set us up here for Graxent and Baran, the Red Bulls, back at what they know best, 1 and 2. I think it's interesting to see that both of the Red Bulls stayed out, but both Mercedes opted to pit. This should be a shorter safety car, I would assume. I think the biggest thing with it is going to be waiting on the drivers to really catch back up here and go through. Currently, Kula, fastest man on track by a good margin there. If you look at that 134.9 against Grax, it has a 135.2. So, bit of time there from Kula. So, if Kula can work his way through the field, should find himself in a very advantageous position. And as we're still going around here under safety car at the moment, kind of watching the drivers go through, and I'm trying to sort of calculate where strategy is going to land, because at this point, even though Mercedes have pit kind of out of cycle, it's going to put them, it kind of forces them to a two-stop. But the issue is, if we don't have another safety car, then they might be able to play some really cheeky moves here, because they're going to be on brand new tires at the end of this restart. And it's going to be very, very interesting to kind of watch how they play things, and I'm sure someone who is a lot better than me is calculating out where they're going to end up at the moment. I'm sure that there is a good reason for that call. Also, Wasserschwein still on 7-lap-old soft tires. Very, very interesting decision there, in my opinion. So it's just going to be a weird one to watch, really, and figure out exactly how the drivers are going to line this up, and where they're going to finish with what, and how things are going to go. I would guess this is going to be our last lap under safety car. And of course, if you're interested in getting involved with the league and kind of joining in, do exclamation Discord in the chat. Positions for reserve drivers are always open. As you can see, only 15 drivers participating this week due to some absences, some sickness going on. So if you're a reserve driver, you could slot in right in those spots. All you have to do is jump in and be able and sign up for the race. And if a driver doesn't show up, you may get to fill in their place. Exclamation Discord in the chat, and then you can join our Discord. Of course, be sure to follow us on YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Twitch, all of the fun places that we have a presence. Well, I guess it's not called Twitter anymore. It's called X, but apparently like 80% of people still refer to it as Twitter. So you should definitely check it out. And safety car will be in this lap, and you can see as they announced that as we're coming through the hairpin of turn 12. So that's a very, very interesting place to announce that. So now Graxon and Baron are going to have control of the field all the way down this back straight. You can see here that it's going to be a case of Graxon's going to really, really want to back the pack up here and try to play some cheeky moves. You can see the Bulls 1 and 2 through. Tazo just trying to hold on a bit there. You can see drivers in the background really swerving, trying to hold on to their tires and warm them up and get ready for what they can bring to the table here. Barthez Debe, P5, P6. And there's a bit of wing missing. Looks like that was Yasin there running into Tazo. I'm not sure what happened there. Graxon's still not going at the moment. He's really, really trying to hold these cars back. And as we go through, it really is just a case of when Graxon wants to go, and it looks like Graxon's going to go right at the final corner. And now we're back under green flag racing here as we see Barthez Debe. Yasin into the pits there, has to change that front wing after losing that end plate. Kind of course, a very, very strong downforce track. But we're back under green flag racing here, and now it is going to be Graxon ahead of Baron, ahead of Tazo, and now Barthez and Debe, the Williams drivers, finding themselves in very, very good positions. As we watch here, John Meister, Cashty battling it out, and it's going to be John Meister on the inside there. Cashty with a very cheeky switchback to defend the inside there, and now John Meister gets spun out as we watch as Cashty fights his way up into P6. That is going to be Ignis, who went very, very wide. They're 3 wide there in the background. And as they hold on there, Ignis, Myros, Kula, Kushor, all holding on to their positions at the moment and keeping things going. Caution, Sector 1 yellow flag there. And that is going to be for Maverick, who has spun again. John Meister down into P13 now after that restart. You can see Cashty now splitting the 2 Williams there up into P5 with Barthez in P4, Debe in P6 on the hard tires, and Cashty just on those newer hard tires there. And again, watching this battle here in the midfield. Look at this. Ignis against Myros. Side by side, Myros now dropping down into P10 there as Myros goes off on the inside of turn 13. But gets it back together. It's back on the track, holding on as best as he can. Ignis now side by side with Wasserschwein. And now, as you see here, and that is going to be Debe, who really just wants them to battle each other. Debe gets very, very loose, gets kind of pushed out of the way there. 3 wide coming out of the penultimate corner. Ignis is able to take advantage. Kula P7, Wasserschwein P8. Debe down into 9th place now after starting out P5 at the end of that restart. And Debe now into the pits there. And it looks like that is going to be probably a much, much needed pit stop there for Debe to come through. And now as we watch lap 11 here, the 2 Bulls really holding on to each other, running through. The 2 Bulls followed by the 2 Alphas. 1, 2, 3, 4 here. So very, very good showing from all of them here. Ignis under a lot of pressure. Kula and Barthez putting a lot of pressure on each other and onto Ignis in front. The Mercedes driver who started on pole, trying to hold on to things as best as he can as we run through. And now it's just a matter of going around and around and just trying to defend as best as they can. And I misspoke there. It wasn't Ignis that was on pole. It was John Meister that was on pole. And John Meister now sitting P11 as we watch here. You can see they are sticking back to the end of Tazo there. Tazo really just trying to hold on there. On the 10-lap old mediums, it's the newer tires, the people who pit under that first safety car, that are really starting to apply pressure. Watch this. Ignis isn't even going to wait for the DRS zone. Ignis is just going to pile it down here. It's flat on, almost a little bit of wheel contact there. But you can see now backing out a little bit. That's an interesting decision. You can see another safety car. And there's a bit of a front wing to back wing action there between Ignis and Tazo. I don't think that was planned. And now everyone, again, gets another free pit stop. I don't know what the safety cars are for, though. Like, I don't understand why they're happening. Red Bull's double stacking here. And it is going to be Graxit in. Graxit out onto the hard tires. And it is going to be a bit of a delay there for Baron. Very unfortunate to see that Baron has to get a delay there. And now it's also other drivers into the pits here. Is Ignis going to get out ahead of Baron? Ignis does not. So even though the Bulls had to double stack, it looks like it still plays out in Baron's favor just a bit. Baron's still coming out right behind Graxit with Ignis right behind. And because it's under safety car, not too big of a deal here. Kashi, Tazo, Myros, John Meister opting to not pit this time by. I don't know why Tazo hasn't pit, though. Tazo, 11-lap old medium tires. The only driver who has not pit at the moment. And again, still Kula with that fastest lap with that 134.9 that is still standing here. And if anyone can tell me why we have another safety car, I would greatly appreciate it, because I'm very confused why we have another safety car here at the moment. Again, trying to just figure out strategy here, because it seems like everyone's fairly even now, but Kashi on those 5-lap old hard. I'm wondering if Kashi's going to try to carry this to the end. And then again, looking at Tazo. Tazo's going to have to pit, and I almost wouldn't be surprised if Tazo opts to just go ahead and pit now under the safety car. Because otherwise, Tazo's going to be under immense pressure as the drivers go through. The safety car laps are so long here that we didn't miss too much. It looks like at the moment it is just drivers trying. We're going to be back through. Tazo did opt to take that pit stop that I thought he would. So now it is just a matter of who is going to come out on top here. As it's Kashi, Myros, John Meister, Graxit, Baron. So Kashi will choose when the field gets to go, and it looks like Kashi's a little swirly there. And now we are back underway here with green flag running for lap 14 of 28, officially hitting the halfway point. Looks like Ignis opting into the pits here for some reason. Not exactly sure why there, but as we go through, Kashi holding on, and it's John Meister and Myros that are going to be really battling each other here. And look at that, a bit of contact there between Myros and John Meister. Myros having to back out of it there, and that kind of catches Graxit off guard, but it looks like they're able to get back going again without too much of an issue. And now just continue to watch the drivers battle their way through. And it looks like it is going to be Myros who's really putting the pressure through. But Graxit, we know Graxit's a fast driver. We know Baron's a very, very skilled driver as well. So those Red Bulls are going to be really looking to push and make their charge back through. And the front three on older tires are going to be under a lot of pressure. Look at that. That is Jack up the inside with a good dive around. Very clean move there against Kula. And then a bit of contact there from Kula on the inside there against Jack, and it looks like they both get away with it though, but Kula now down into P8 with Barthez getting past as well. And now as we continue to watch the drivers go through, it is just a matter of watching who can do what. Kashi there passed by John Meister. John Meister, of course, on the medium tires with without DRS, just to help a slipstream and a bit of the battery, and Kashi now holding on there on the hard tires. It's going to be able to go a bit more, but again, just these top three are going to be on older tires than Graxit and Baron, but even though it's hard tires, we're going to see how they can do. Tazo onto the soft tires, into P9 there. at the moment. And look at this. Graxit right on the rear wing here. Myros really putting pressure. Taking a alternate line around. We're going to see, can he slide that front wing up the inside and try to get a move done? It doesn't look like it. Baran and Jack side by side behind him, though. Look at this. Maybe a bit of teammate game here as we see Baran trying to defend against Jack here, and it looks like Jack is able to fight his way through, and Jack's going to be up the inside of Graxit. These are two very, very competitive drivers, and it does look like at the moment Jack is able to hold on there. So Jack now getting past both Red Bull drivers up into P4, and now can they follow Jack through to try to get into the top 3? As we see Jack has a lot of pace on those medium tires and has a lot of pace here in China and is really, really trying to push things through. Jack, as we hit this main straight here, is Jack gonna have the pace to get around? I don't know why I'm even asking if he has the pace. Look at this. He's already side by side with Myros by the time we're halfway through, and now it's just a matter of who can break better. Look at the Williams in the background of Barthez getting very, very swirly, and then Kula's trying to get up in the mix as well. Jack, though, the man of the hour, getting his way through. Now Graxit and Baran, a little bit of a duel there, and Graxit is going to stay ahead of his teammate Baran at the moment. Jack now up into the podium paying places, and DRS is enabled, and look at how tight the grid is here. It is going to be a DRS train all the way through and through. Look at the battle here between Tazo on those soft tires, trying to push and get up to Kula. Kula on the hards is really pushing with Barthez, though. Really, really showing his pace all the way through. Graxit now around Myros, around the inside there. He's able to get through, but his teammate Baran does not follow him through at the moment. Ignis, fastest lap of the Grand Prix on those soft tires, but Ignis, of course, back at P15. Look at that in the background here. Look at this. Barthez trying to do a switchback here on Baran, not able to make it stick. And now Barthez under a lot of pressure there. Look at this. They're 3 wide almost going through. Tazo is going to slide his way through. Is Kula going to slide his way through? Kula does slide his way through. And now Tazo under more pressure again, trying to hold off against Kula there. No, almost able to make it happen. The soft tires, a bit more grip, bit more traction, but Tazo wisely backs out of it there. So Tazo now down into P8 after that one small error. Baran up the inside here of Myros, finally able to push his way through, but has lost a ton of time on his teammate Graxit. And now yellow flag sector 3, that is going to be Myros, who has spun back in the background of that tricky turn 12, turn 13. But is now back going, and here we go. Still yellow flags through. Look at this Cashy trying to push Jack very, very hard. And Cashy not able to get past there, or not able to hold Jack off, and up into P2 goes Jack. So Jack showing a very, very strong pace here and is in a very, very advantageous place to potentially win here as we hit lap 17 of 28. And now Myros with a 5-second time penalty, speeding in the pit lane. And for Myros, that is going to be his weekend done there in the Aston Martin. Retires out there on lap 17 of 28. And as we continue through, you can see the field is very, very close together. Really, really trying to hold on to things. And now Wasserschwein up the inside of Kushor there, coming through the middle sector. And Wasserschwein able to hold on there. Kushor under a bit of pressure from Debe there, battling for P11. And the big thing that I'm noticing now is that the gaps have started to spread out just a little bit here through. Everybody's just at or just over a second here as we hit lap 17 of 28. This is going to be where we start to see things mix up quite a bit, as some people are going to get closer, some people are further away, but it looks like, especially for this front group, pretty much everyone is just over a second away from the car in front at the detection point. So now Cashy with DRS is catching up quite a bit on Jack, but was just almost a second away. But you can see the power of the DRS as he gets that gap down to about 4/10 by the time they hit the braking zone. DRS very, very, very powerful here at China. Now as we watch here, again through turn 1 for just 10 laps to go here in this race. I think the big battle I'm going to be watching here in the next couple of corners or laps is going to be Kula here, who is starting to really gain on Baran. He's within half a second now and has a lot of pressure. The AlphaTauris have shown a lot of pace, but a lot of inconsistency at the same time, which has kind of been unfortunate because they've been looking very, very good through for the most part. And there's a spin from the other Aston Martin driver of Kushor. We see Maverick and Wasserschwein swapping places there. Wasserschwein spinning as well there in the first sector, trying to get going again. And as that happens, Kula just holding that gap right at half a second off of Baran. And as we watch here, battle for P1 heating up there. Jack with DRS, able to get up to John Meister, able to get around John Meister. So with 10 laps to go here, Jack now in the lead of the Grand Prix there in the Ferrari. You can see Graxit within half a second of Kashti here. So lots of time being found here, and Kula was closing the gap. Gap's opened up a little bit now after that penultimate corner. So Kula holding onto the back of the Red Bull as well. As we see now the battle here, Graxit getting the run around Kashti around the outside there as we go into turn 1. And now Graxit up into P3 here, holding on to the podium places. And we'll see if Graxit's able to get a bit more here. Tazo into the pits, 6 laps on those soft tires, and finds that the soft tires just aren't going to do it. So Tazo into the pits here. And Tazo onto another set of soft tires there. Now it's just a matter of really watching the drivers and seeing who is going to be able to find what as we go through. Yellow flag sector 1, it looks like that might have been a coming together of Ignis and Wasserschwein. They both spin. They're both right next to each other, so I'm wondering what just happened there. And it looks like they're battling very, very hard there for P12. See a bit of contact there. You would think this is a battle for the lead on the last lap. They're driving very, very hard against each other. John Meister now falling outside of a second from Jack here. We'll see, did he get DRS though? Was he within a second through the detection point? As they cross the line, you can see that gap in the rear wing open just enough. So yes, they were. And then for Graxit now coming down, braking deep, and these front fours starting to close up again. And it's kind of inviting Baran and Kula to get back into the mix here. So as we start lap 20 of 28, 8 laps to go here. It's still really anyone's guess who wins this. You can say it's Jack, but Jack is just holding a second of a gap. He's not holding much more of a gap at the moment. Coming through here again, Jack now gap 1.7 seconds. I open my mouth is basically what's happened there. And as we hold on here, safety car. Let's mix it all up one more time just for fun. Why is there a safety car though? What has happened? Because I don't see that anyone's out that I can tell. Let's check on some of these drivers. Ignis has this front wing. Wasserschwein is missing part of a front wing, question mark. It looks like something happened with Wasserschwein and somehow not DNFing, but missing front wing. So now let's jump with our leaders here and see what they decide to do. Jack into the pits, Graxit in right behind him, John Meister in, Kashti in, Baran in. So Red Bull opting to double stack here. Kula in, Yasin will be in as well. So double stacking an AlphaTauri, Barthez through, Debe coming in. Let's see how things mix up here as we watch our leader in on softs, out on softs. John Meister in on softs, out on softs. Graxit In on softs, out on softs. And Graxit is going to jump up into P2 here. Jawmeister in P3 now. Kashti P4. Kula P5. Baran will actually find P5 there as Kula has to back out and goes into P6. Barthez in and out on the medium tires. Yasin will get ahead of Barthez there for P7, P8. Barthez P9 as Williams also double stack. So lots of action to the pit lane there. But as we could see, that is going to bring things through. And now the Haas into the pits there. Wasserschwein a little bit on the grass there. I thought he was about to spin. But big storyline here. Jack, Graxit, P1, P2. Very, very close to each other here. But Jack and that Ferrari is going to have the lead. We'll see how this plays out. A good point of order to keep in mind here is going to be how the results of last year went down with Graxit and Jack Tazo being P1, P2, P3. And if you look at things at the moment, it's Jack Graxit. So this is where I think things are going to get very, very interesting for the drivers. And I'm really curious to see where things land because at this point, Graxit's just trying to get the back-to-back. And this safety car does go extremely slow as we watch it go through. It's very, very, very slow. So, hang out, enjoy the safety car for just a moment, and I will be right back. And safety car is going to be in this lap. So that will mean this is going to be the point where we go down to 5 laps to go. And it's going to be the big challenge here. Jack, Graxit, which driver will come out ahead here? But as we can see, it is currently the Scuderia Ferrari that is in the lead here against that wonderful, wonderful Red Bull driver. But you can see Jack keeping a pretty consistent pace there, not really slowing down, bunching the field up. And we'll see how this plays to his advantage or disadvantage here as it is time for the safety car to come in. 5 laps to go at the line, and it's still anyone's guess who brings this race home. But as we set up here, and now you can see Jack is going to determine when the field goes and when does Jack want the field to go as we watch from the rear wing here. And just listen for when he decides to plant that throttle. Come through the final corner. Not doing it yet. Graxit's anticipating it, though. Look at this. He's holding them as long as he can, and now we're going to go. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a cheeky little restart that I am a fan of. And now we're back underway here as we hit lap 23 of 28. And you can see Jack through, Graxit holding on there, and Jahrmeister trying to get a bit of a run on the outside of one here, down into the inside of the next corner. Not close enough to make that happen, though, but really, really wants to. Cashy trying to put a bit of pressure there on Jahrmeister. All of our top 7 on the soft tire, so it's really just a matter of who can get the better run. Look at that off the front wing, up the inside, deep braking there, and Cashy just totally outbrakes himself. Cashy just acting like a brake pedal doesn't exist, completely sending it up the inside. Thankfully, doesn't run in the back of Graxit there. Jahrmeister now gets to run around as Cashy has cooked his tires a bit there with that braking. And now Baran around the outside here against Cashy. Is he able to hold on to it? It's going to be inside to outside, a little bit of contact almost, but they are side by side, neck and neck, running down here into the turn 10 left-hander. The hairpin, the 90-degree, bit of a bump there, bit of a bump again. Baran, a bit of a bump again, and another bump. And there it is, and that is going to be Cashy and Baran both spun through there. And that is going to knock both of them back almost out of the points here. But that is going to play right into the hands of Graxit, who is currently trying to chase down Jack in P1. And they're really trying to hold on. Look at Jahrmeister there in P3. Yasin now in P4 there. The AlphaTauris finding themselves in a very good place. Kula with a 5-second time penalty. Corner cutting and gain 2 places. That's an interesting one. I've never seen that before in the game. Now Debe up into P5 here. Debe, who had a horrendous qualifying, finding himself in P5. Under pressure there from Kula. Kula up the inside, holds on to it. And now we just need to watch this battle here for the front. Graxit putting a lot of pressure on Jack here. Front to back, they go through the left-hander here. And who can come out on top as they run through? It's very, very hard to tell at the moment. As we see Graxit running and trying to hold pressure, keeping about 2.5 tenths of a gap on Jack at all times here. And now you can see where Jack has good traction through that middle sector. Jack is doing very, very well out of the slow corner, opening that gap up half a second now, opening up to about 5.5 tenths. And Jahrmeister able to put a bit of pressure there. I think Graxit might be running a slightly lower downforce setup. So Jack is doing very, very good out of the corners, but Graxit has a little bit more straight line speed. But you can see how things are playing very, very quickly. Lap 24 of 28 here. And it's really anyone's guess at the moment who is going to finish where. Look at the big winners and losers here. Of course, Yasin up 9 places. Jack up 6 places. Graxit started P3, currently P2. Debe up 6 places, and Kushor up 2. Of course, big losers here that we have at the moment, it's Ignis and Barthez and Maverick. Of course, Milos and Pink, the 2 drivers that are out of the race. Ignis with 5 pit stops in this race. I hate seeing that. Baran and Cashy dueling it out into the penultimate corner, and it looks like Cashy able to hold on to P6 there against Baran as we run through. So this midfield battle, very, very competitive. 3 laps to go here. DRS is now enabled. And as we watch here, it's Graxit against Jack against Jahrmeister. As we watch here, again, Graxit losing so much time at the end of that first sector and through the middle sector. The gap almost a second at some points. So Jack showing a lot of pace in the corners and really holding on to it. Jahrmeister just staying fairly consistent there behind Kula at 2.5 seconds back, but it looks like Kula is slowly gaining on these front 3, even with that 5-second penalty trying to nurse things through. And the other AlphaTauri of Yasin there in P5 trying to hold on as well. Cashy there, P6, trying to go through and really trying to put pressure. Baran there in P7, so a very, very different result from the Red Bull domination that we saw in week 1 of them just absolutely holding on. But watch this. Cashy is going to stay right on the rear wing here. And we'll see DRS open here. Is Cashy going to be able to catch, to pass? It looks like not. It looks like Yasin's actually going to open the gap up a bit there with the DRS from teammate. And Cashy again deep late on the brakes there. And a bit of contact through. That's going to open up things for Baran. Can Baran take advantage of that? Baran is going to be past Yasin. Yasin dropping back. And now can Baran get past Cashy? Kashti locking up the brakes very, very often, I'm noticing as well. Don't know if that might just be an Alfa Romeo issue or maybe just a slight issue with the way the brakes are set up on that car, but that is a very, very unusual thing. We see Kashti trying to put a lot of pressure on Baran, and again, those two connecting wheel to wheel. In lap 26 of 28 here, drivers trying to hold on to things. Yellow flag sector 1, that is going to be, I believe, for Maverick, who has spun now. But no safety car here, it looks like, so we are still keeping things going here. Graxit, though, closing that gap up a bit. I think he might have just taken a lap to reset here. Gap down to about half a second. He's just within the range of where he needs to be here to try to have a dive on Jack into this penultimate corner. And DRS Open, look at how much he is gaining here. And look at this, 205 miles an hour. But breaks out of it just a little bit early there. Not wanting to run into Jack, but is able to put some pressure there and show that he is in the mix here for a win. Graxit truly, truly in the mix here. And now John Meister also in. So it's a three-way battle here for the win. You can see just in the background, Kula about 3.6 seconds back. And as we dive into turn 1, these front three are really, really battling. And this battle between Kashti and Baran is very, very competitive as well. And there it is, another contact there between Kashti and Baran. And these two just cannot keep their cars away from each other. And that's opening up the door for Yasin as well, the other AlphaTauri driver who is trying to get up there with his teammate, trying to have a strong result for AlphaTauri this weekend. And here we go. Watch him there. He's going to switch back a bit. Baran, that's a bit cheeky there. That's a bit of swerving, but there it is. Now hooking up the wheel with Kashti. So Baran and Kashti really, really not able to keep it together, it looks like. They're really, really trying. But it's very, very rough. And now 5-second penalty speeding in the pit lane for Maverick. And I think Maverick is going to retire that Haas here on lap 27 of 28. That is very unfortunate as well. Who's out on? Let's jump back in with these front three. These front three, the battle for the win, not over yet. See here, Graxton again, about half a second back, and John Meister about half a second back from him. So it's going to be kind of the help of Slipstream and DRS here as we run down the back straight. Watch this. Graxton's going to think about a dive here, but does not do it. But look at how much harder on the brakes John Meister is. Jack doing a very, very good job of backing up Graxton here and trying to play his cards right, brake at the right time, slow in, fast out, and really try to hold on to things here. And these front three, as we run into the final lap, this is going to be where a lot of action hits. But of course, this battle between Kashti and Baran is far from over as well. So as we watch this battle here, watch Baran. Baran's going to get cheeky and try to go around the outside there. And does he make it stick as we go through? He does, as Kashti really trying to hold on to things there. And Baran able to get ahead there of Kashti as we run through the first couple of corners now. But can he hold on to it through the rest of the lap? That is going to be the big question here, as Kashti is a very, very fast driver. Tires are even. They stopped at the same time. It's just a matter of who can land where. Now Graxton needs to channel any strength he has left here after the end of this 28-lap race and try to find this win. Jack really needs to channel it as well. Jack's going to be throwing the battery down. Jack's going to be just giving everything that he can here through this final half a lap. And as we run through here, left-hander of turn 10, Graxton needs to set this up beautifully for a dive into the penultimate corner out of the DRS zone. And there has been something that's happened there with those three there in P5, as you see Yasin now up ahead of both Baran and Kashti. Baran and Kashti side by side, yet again, kind of taking chunks out of each other here. But we need to watch back up front, as Graxton's going to be trying to run around here. There's too many battles to watch, and Graxton does get the run here on Jack. Jack deep braking here. Can he hold on to it? John Meister now in the mix as well. They're going to be side by side. A bit of a brake attraction there from Jack into the final corner here, and Graxton is going to try to hold on to it, but Graxton ultimately trying to get that pass done, but falls back into P3. Checkered flag falls down, and it is going to be Jack, the Ferrari driver, who finds the win. John Meister P2, Graxton P3, and while all of this is going on, Kula in P4, and Baran and Kashti battling so hard, they do cost each other a position. Look at that. Baran into P4, and Kashti battling with Baran isn't able to stay within the 5 seconds of Kula and finishes P6. What a very, very close battle all the way through. Driver of the day, Jack, with a very, very good run through. Very, very impressive to see there from the drivers. And as we look here at the winners, it's Jack, John Meister, Graxent. Graxent started P3, finished P3. A very, very late move there in the final couple of corners between them to try to move things through. John Meister started pole, of course, finished there, P2. And before we can go through the rest of the grid, the lobby closed. So everybody stick around for just a moment. Let me see how the drivers are feeling, if they're feeling up to some interviews. All right, and it looks like we are going to be doing interviews this week. So we are going to just jump down, actually, and we'll talk to both Graxa and Jack at once and see how they feel and see how things are going for them. Let's just jump down and join them real quick.
Oh, taken out.
Hey, Graxa. Hey, Jack.
Hello.
How's it going?
Good. I'm good. You?
Good. How are you all feeling? I know. I think both of you aren't feeling super well.
Yeah. I got COVID.
Oh man, John Meister, how are you feeling?
Hello. I'm feeling good, man. No
Okay.
fever, no nothing.
Okay, that's good. All right, guys, kind of talk me through that race. We'll start with Graxent. That was an interesting race, John Meister. I know you had a kind of like last to first challenge almost at one point. And then Jack, you had a lot of pace all the way through. So Graxent, I'm going to start with you. Kind of talk me through the race and sort of what was your strategy going in? Was it just kind of a game of survival, or how'd you feel about this weekend?
Bad, actually bad. I feel not well. I just puked mid qualifying, so I was just trying to get at least points and not go far behind standings because alright, this race actually don't want to race because I don't feel well. But I did, and I did get P3 now, so for that point of view, it's pretty good weekend. But overall, if I was getting better, if I was just so good and not sick, then maybe it was better. But from now, P3 is not the bad.
Right, Jack. Going to you next. Kind of looking through a lot of the drivers I know we're talking about having issues with traction and different things on this version of China in F123 compared to the other versions. Did you seem to have that same issue, or kind of was traction an issue for you at all?
No, nothing compared to the last game. I think it was harder last game. It felt easier on this game, but you still had your tires overheating if you didn't take care of them, in a sense. But I don't think it was as hard as people may have made it out to be.
Gotcha. And then John Meister, jumping over to you, kind of watching through. You qualified on pole, looked really good through. Do you like this track a lot? Because it seemed like you had pace the entire time through quali and the race, were able to hold on really well. Even though, to quote you, there was a bit of a strategy mess up moment for you.
Yeah, so the quali was really good. I feel like the lap I put, it was for me almost perfect. And on the race, yeah, it was was bad with the strategy because I got hit and then my race was fucked. But honestly, I was lucky with the last safety car.
Yeah, can any of you answer what the safety cars were for? Because nobody was
Um,
DNFing.
One of the safety cars was I think it was Mario's, or it was a Haas, and I was overtaking him, and he left me no room on the outside. And you know when the tires like clip together,
Mhm.
he clipped to my tire and just spun around after pushing me off track.
It was interesting.
That was one safety car. I don't know about the rest.
Neither. Seems like nobody retired, or maybe just one.
I was gonna say the only retirements I saw were in the pit lane where
Yeah, so that should be fine.
so well, but like there were random safety cars and I was like, what are these for? I don't know what's happening. Graxon, last question for you. Kind of looking through very, very strong performance for you these 2 weeks. Next track is Japan. How are you feeling about next week?
Good. I'm gonna finish first. So let's do it. If I feel good, I hope I can finish first and just. I like Japan. I mean, yeah, it's a good track. A lot of swingers, so I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. And last time we were there, you were the winner last season when we were at Japan. So
Yes.
that's a good precedent for you.
Yes, it's a good track.
All right, guys. Appreciate y'all. A good race for all of you. Congrats on your podiums. And I
Thank
will
you.
catch up with you all in a bit.
All right, ta
All right.
All right, guys. And that is going to be where we call this week's stream. Next week, of course, is going to be China. If you are interested in joining, again, !Discord. If you are watching live on Twitch, join the Discord. If you're watching on YouTube, it's going to be down in the description. As always, support our partners at Racetracks and at Moza. And until next week, my name is Brad, and I will see you next week. And again, usually this is where we have Syntax who can kind of tag in with a bye, or Kenny, but neither of them are here this week. Hopefully they're both feeling okay. So I'm just going to take over Syntax's job and go, bye!